Hello guys, welcome back to my lessons. Today we're going to answer questions under the topic of human response to the environment, right? So we'll be focusing on the ear, right? So what is the most important thing in the ear, right? You must know that you must know the parts like pinna, the tympanic membrane. You must know those bones, and you must know the oval and round window, Eustachian tube. You must know the semicircular canals, cochlea. You must know the auditory canal, right? Also the ear canal. There's an ear canal there after the pinna. So what you must know is those parts and their functions, right? So for an example, they'll ask you what is part A, part B. You already know them by heart. And they might ask you what is the function of A, what is the function of B, right? You will give them the functions because you would have practiced them. And then from there, what is it that they can ask you again in this topic? They can ask you, if A is damaged, what's going to happen? What's going to happen if A is damaged or if D is damaged? You look at the function of A. If they say if A is damaged, what's going to happen? You look at the function of A. For an example, maybe it is to amplify the sound, right? What you're going to tell them if they ask you what's going to happen if A is damaged, you tell them that the sound is not going to be amplified. For an example, if they say the tympanic membrane amplifies the sound, right, which is part D in this diagram now. If they say if D is damaged or if D has a hole in it, what's going to happen, right? You tell them that it will not be able to vibrate, right, to send sound waves to the middle ear. You know that those are the functions of the tympanic membrane. So you tell them that it is not going to be able to perform its job, but you mention those jobs that it is not going to be able to vibrate because it vibrates. It is not going to be able to send the sound waves to the middle ear because that is the function of a tympanic membrane. So you take their functions and you tell them that it is not going to be able to perform those functions. So let's look at this question. The diagram below shows a cross section through the human ear, right? Identify part B. I told you parts are important. What is part B? Semicircular canals, right? What is part C? Part C, that is the Eustachian tube, right? And then what does structure A consist of, right? So in structure A, we have bones. Those are bones. And that's the answer. Explain what would happen if structure D had a hole in it. D is what is a tympanic membrane. So you must know parts and then you must know their functions. So if they ask you what will happen when it gets damaged, you know that you're just going to say that their function, it's not going to be able to perform its function. So the tympanic membrane, you mention it. They didn't tell you it's a tympanic membrane, mention it. You might get a mark for it. Will not be able to vibrate. You know that it vibrates. And then you tell them that it will not be able to send sound waves to the middle ear. You know its function is to send the sound waves to the middle ear. So it will not be able to perform that function, resulting in what? In deafness, right? Or hearing will not be possible. Now let's look at the next set of questions. It says, the diagram below represents a part of a human ear. I told you the most important thing is to know the parts. After the parts, you know their functions. After their functions, if they ask you if this part gets damaged, what's going to happen? You know its functions, right? You know that part, you know the functions. You just tell the examiner that it will not be able to perform its function, and then you mention those functions. Right, let's answer this one. Identify part A. Part A is a round window, because the first window there is oval, the last one is R window. I mean to say round window. And then identify part D. Part D is the cochlea. And name the receptors that are found in B. The receptors that are found in B is cristae, right? So if you didn't know this, just go to the textbook and read these things. Explain the consequence to the human body if part C is damaged. I told you if they tell you what will happen if part C is damaged, you ask yourself, what is part C? you know that part C is an auditory canal, right? It's an auditory canal. And then what is the function of part C? It sends the impulses it sends the impulses to the brain, right? Also, impulses from the cochlea, they are transmitted through the what? Through that auditory canal. So what's going to happen if it is damaged? So you're going to say that the impulses from the cochlea cannot be transmitted to the brain. Therefore, the hearing will not occur, right? Because you know its function is to transmit the impulses to the brain. So let's look at the next question. It says, what will happen if part A becomes hardened, right? So if part A becomes hardened, you know the functions of a round window, right? It vibrates, right? It absorbs the sound waves from the cochlea, right? And then, so what are you going to say? Because it is hardened, now you tell the examiner that those functions will not be able to be performed, right? So part A will not be able to vibrate, or you can mention it to say round window will not be able to vibrate. The round window will not be able to absorb the sound waves from the cochlea, and hearing will be affected. That is all. And then from there, let's answer the last question. Explain why people with the middle ear infections are usually advised not to travel by aeroplane. So what you're going to do now, if you are unable to answer this question, you're going to the textbook to learn more about middle ear infections, right? Why are they not advised to travel by an aeroplane? Because the mucus in the middle ear will lead to the blockage of the eustachian tube, which will not be able to equalize the pressure, right, in the middle ear, resulting in the pressure on the tympanic membrane, and which may cause the tympanic membrane to burst, leading to hearing loss. So what you're going to do now, if you were not able to answer this question, you're going to learn about middle ear infections from what? From your study guide or from your textbook. So thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Thank you.